This is my Green Dragon Knight army. The Green Dragons are an all-time favorite faction and one that people love to army build. I understood why the second that I got my hands on a double-head Dragon Knight. Since this faction is so awesome, today I'm gonna put together an army of them. I get most of my minifigures from Whatnot. eBay is another great option, but I like Whatnot a little bit better. On Whatnot, you will join a live action to bid against people. There are a lot of kids trying to buy cheap figures, so a lot of the time it's easy to get good deals. When buying minifigures, you mostly pay for shipping once. For a figure, I usually pay around $4 and after that, the next 3 or 4 purchases have free shipping. This is not a commercial for Whatnot. I'm obviously not sponsored by anyone. I just want to mention it because I have found really good deals, and this is how I ended up putting together most of my Star Wars collection. I got all these figures from 2 sellers, one being Monarch Bricks, which I had mentioned before, and Bricks by Bricks, which hooked me up with some minty double-head Dragon Armor Knights, and I'm really thankful for that. This is everything that I got. As you can see, I mostly focus on buying characters for my army. I did notice that one of the shields that I got was either Sunborn or it was a really good quality fake, but regardless, I was really happy with this lot of knights. Now that I have managed to get soldiers for my army, I felt like I needed a fortress for them. Luckily, I had this amazing set around. This is one of the few medieval sets that we have on shelves at the moment in 2024. This is an example of LEGO doing everything right for once. Even the alternate wheels look really good, and the leftover pieces you get are really useful for medieval builds. I decided that it was time to open it, and I was really pleased with the whole experience for several reasons. The set is really fun to put together. This is one of the best value sets that I have ever seen in my life. I paid $80 for it, and I definitely feel like I got my money's worth. The figures on the set are really good as well. And even if you decide to take it apart, you get a lot of great pieces that you can use for your own mocks. Overall, I only have good things to say about this castle. I guess this is more like a fortress for a lord or something similar. I kept looking at it and nothing on it really makes it look Black Falcon-ish. So I figured that changing it to look like if it was from a different faction shouldn't be too hard. With just a few changes, I made the Green Dragon Castle. I only swapped the banners, the roof on the front, and the shield. It was really easy to do, and I think that it looks even better than the original model, since there's a lot of yellow and some green on the castle already. I'm not gonna go into more details, I'm just gonna say that I would love to be able to have more of these to modify and make a bigger fortress. For now, I made a small terrain mug to add a little bit of life to the build. I try to make the blue hues match the original set, and I think my idea worked out perfectly. And now it's time to finally take a look at the actual army. First we have the dwarves. Since we all seem to love dwarves, I thought that it wouldn't hurt to make some Green Dragon themed. Next up we have some regular knights, wearing that amazing torso piece. The dragon logo and the color scheme does wonders to these figures. The double-head Dragon Armor Knights are some of my favorite figures ever made. Everything about them is perfect. The print of the armor, the color scheme, and even the torso underneath of the armor is a 10 out of 10. I have given these knights a bigger shield, and I made 3 custom axes for them to make them look even more intimidating. Finally, I have the Frightening Knights. These are from the CMF series, and aren't technically green dragons, but their colors work perfectly, so I gave them shields to match the faction and some custom weapons with similar aesthetic. Now we can take a look at all the figures together. And if you think that I forgot, of course, I know that we need a captain or a leader for the army. And for this guy, I'm using the torso of the double-head Dragon Knight that I mentioned before. This is hands down my favorite medieval print ever made by LEGO. This might not be the biggest army, but in the lore that I have for my world, these are basically like Spartans. Just a few of them, but these are all warriors, trained for combat, and with a lot of equipment to help them overpower their enemies. Most of them have custom weapons, and I really try to stick to a color scheme for everything from accessories to the actual figures, and the results really paid off. It took me a little bit of time to get into collecting these Dragon Knights, and I regret not investing on these figures before. Since these guys are really popular, there are a lot of people after them. The good value lots never last on eBay, and people will overpay for them on Whatnot all the time without a second guess. The funny thing is that I totally understand why, and I'm not even mad. I can't blame other people for wanting to have more of these on their collections. Taking the time to work on this army was a fantastic experience. I tried to come up with unique ways to customize them, but these figures look really good already, and it's a little hard for me to just take them apart and mix and match them. But I'm sure that I'm not the only one that feels this way. The other problem that I ran into is that the dark pearl grey accessories are actually really hard to find for a reasonable price. People use these pieces for the Black Falcons, the Black Ravens, and Green Dragons, and probably for many other factions that I can think of right now. And those pieces are retired, so the only option to get a lot of them is the secondary market, which we all know that it gets pretty crazy when something is popular and looked after. I would love to get more green and black capes so that each soldier is wearing a cloth piece on the army. As I mentioned in my head lore, these guys are all trained warriors, and I want their experience and interest for the military to be shown at a first glimpse on their uniforms. I also need to get pieces for a few more custom axes. There are like 4 characters that could benefit from having a custom weapon. Other than that, there's some other things to nitpick about, but overall I'm really happy with the army that I have. For now, I don't know when I'm gonna have the chance to upgrade it, because I'm getting married next month, and I'm broke until further notice. Even though I love LEGO, there are other priorities that I can't ignore, but that doesn't mean that I shouldn't be able to enjoy from the hobby that makes me happy. But well, before I dig more into my personal life, let me know what do you think of this army in the comments down below. I'm always happy to see the people suggesting cool ideas that we can all implement in our armies. So if you know of any cool tricks and tips, make sure to share them with everyone. And on that note, this is all I have for you today. I'm Beyond LEGO. Peace out.